Boom, there it is, ladies and gents. Ready to rock and roll on a solo episode. That's what happens when your guests don't show up. If you book it on the calendar, you gotta show up. Otherwise, you're taking up spots for somebody else. Either way, we're still gonna do the show like we do every single day. So let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Here we, if I can find my intro, go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros solo episode. All right, ladies and gents, let's do this thing. Dude, I'm dripping in finesse, and I feel a lot better than I did yesterday, I'll tell you that much. All right, so a little more heads up. Yesterday was painful. So on Monday, as corny as it sounds, after I did my workout, I was getting out of the shower, putting my clothes on, and I felt a little twinge on my back. And I was like, oh, dude, damn, that hurt, whatever. No big deal. I thought that whole day it got tighter and tighter and tighter. And then Tuesday was not very good, but I kind of managed. And then yesterday was just bad. I could like barely walk. I mean, everything was delicate. Couldn't really lift anything. It was painful. Luckily, or luckily, James has been going through back pain stuff too. So he had a bunch of equipment. I was able to go over there, hang upside down. You can see a little clip of that on my story yesterday. Did a lot of stretching, and oddly enough, this morning I woke up and I did my normal workout. Well, not normal workout. I went downstairs, and instead of stretching the whole time, I was able to do push-ups from my knees, and not as many as normally do, but I was able to move. I had a lot more flexibility. Today, I'm able to walk around. I still feel discomfort, but so much better than it was yesterday. I mean, a man in pain or a man who is sick only really wants one thing in life, and that's to get better. And then everybody else, when we're healthy, we think of all these other millions of things that we can do in our day, which kind of correlates to what today's topic is. What does it take to become a pro? What does it take to become a pro content creator? And really, it's a couple things, right? First of all, you can become whatever it is that you want to become in life. It starts with right here, right between your ears. There's this little mushy jello thing that we call our brain, right? And our brain is always taking in information. The words we use are ultimately the thing that our brain is going to interpret and become a reality, right? So if you're thinking things like, oh, I'm broke, I can't afford that, I can't do that, you're literally telling those things to your mind, and your mind is like, okay, well, that's true. It's going to do its best to make those things a reality. So first and foremost, belief, right? Number one thing is to believe in yourself, that it is a possibility, right? To understand, the Bible says that if a man has the faith of a mustard seed, that he can move mountains, right? And that's really, really what it comes down to. Now, again, this is not a religious show or anything, but the concept is very simple. Once you believe in something, you can do great things. And our mind really does work that way. We ask ourselves questions every single day, right? Every single day, you're like, oh, what am I going to do today? How am I going to make that happen? Do I even have to go to work? You ask yourself questions all the time, and your mind is constantly seeking the answer to the questions that you're asking yourself. So yes, believe in yourself. Number one, yes, it's possible. And there are a couple things. I wrote out a few things really quick because, anytime I have a guest not show up, I got to come up with some sort of concept to talk about. So here it is. Number one that I have on my list is to accept your current position, right? Understand where you are. Yesterday, James and I were having a conversation because we're both hurting, sitting on the couch, and we're having this conversation about getting older, right? And accepting certain things. And one of the things that James said to me was, one of the things he's trying to accept in his mind is that he will not be able to run like he used to in the past. He is no longer going to be able to do that. And not that he can't work out, and not that he can't be in shape. It's just his physical condition has now changed the way he approaches. And step number one is to accept that. You see that in Alcoholics Anonymous too, right? You need to accept, hi, my name is Hernan and I'm an alcoholic, right? You accept the fact that you're in this position where you are right now. If you can't accept that spot, then you have no starting ground, no beginning, no starting line to move forward from. Right? So accept the current position that you're in. If you're trying to become a content creator and this is like the first time and all you're doing at this point is listening to people's podcasts, you're watching YouTube videos, you're listening to audiobooks, you're getting information, right? You need to accept that right now, you're not good at content creation. You are amazing at content consumption. Most of us are, right? We can scroll for days on TikTok. I know I can scroll for a long time on TikTok. I can do the same thing in Instagram stories, right? We're great at consuming content, but accept the position that right now you are not a content creator, but believe that you can be, right? So accept the current position. It could be a lot of things, right? I'm talking about becoming a pro content creator, but it could be same thing with your health. You can look in the mirror and say, look, I am fat. I do not like the way I look, but I am ready to make the change. Accept the position where you're at. You can look at your bank account, right? You know what? I don't have enough commas in my bank account right now. Accept the position where you're at. What am I going to do to change that? Right? What am I going to do to make that next step? Accept the position where you're at. Believe that you have a path forward and you should be okay. That's a good spot to start off at. All right. The next one is that I have on my list is prepare for pain. Right? Prepare for pain. Like, I love how when I listen to different motivational speeches, different things that go on that got me going. Look at Nana. Thank you very much. Good work. Glad I'm feeling better. Yes, I am. Prepare for pain. I love when I listen to other people talk about, oh, you're going to fail forward, or, oh, it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, but you'll be okay. No, dude. Like, for me, it's that prepare for the pain. Remember, like, working out right now, for example, right? I have to accept the fact that my back is not 100%. I feel like I'm at 70%. I can walk around. I'm feeling a little bit better. But if I just decided that I was going to get back on the horse and run 6 miles, I could do some real damage to myself, right? Accept where you're at, but get ready for the pain. I'm ready to embrace the pain. I'm not going to probably run for maybe I'll take another week off, and depending on how I feel then, maybe I'll jump into it and it won't be 6 miles again. I'll have to start all over, right? And I know that it's going to be painful. I understand that maybe I'll do, 2 or 3 miles at the very beginning and see how I feel. And maybe it's not a run, maybe it's a jog or a walk, right? But just to get myself moving again and understand that I'm going to be sore. There is going to be pain in this step. And I need to accept the fact that the pain is going to exist. When you become a content creator, there is going to be pain at first. And that pain might be as you are learning a new software program. Like, a lot of you are like, I want to make YouTube videos, but I don't know anything about editing. Yes, I know. There is going to be pain when you decide to pick a program and you're going to sit down and learn it. And you're going to watch a YouTube video and implement the thing that you learned. And you're going to watch another tutorial and you're going to implement that thing that you learned until you finally create something that took you hours and hours to do. It's a waste of time? No, it's an investment of time. Did it suck doing it? Yes, it was painful. You had to sit down and go step by step and then stop at a certain point. You didn't even know the terminology of what you were trying to do. So you're Googling different things until you finally see something that makes sense and then you fill in the gap. Prepare for the pain. Like, accept the fact that you don't know what you don't know yet. And that's okay, because remember, you have a belief, you can do this, right? And you've accepted the current position that you are at the bottom right now, that you are at zero. Everyone starts at zero. If you're starting your Instagram following, you start off with 0 followers. TikTok, 0 followers. If you're starting off and creating content, you don't know anything about Photoshop, about Canva, you don't know anything about Adobe Premiere Pro, taking the right pictures, the dimensions that you have to take. You don't know any of that stuff. Prepare for the pain. And the pain in this case for content creating, fortunately, is not physical pain. It's just mental. You have to get yourself in a position where you are going to learn something, and it's going to be uncomfortable because you don't know. It's going to be uncomfortable because you have to ask people for help and for questions, right? You got to push through and understand that this is going to be mentally painful for you to move forward. It's going to be weird and awkward when you post. right? I mean, you're going to create something that took you hours to do, and then don't do what everybody else does, where you just are like, all right, I'm done. I didn't like the way it came out. I'm not going to post it. That is not a content creator. I want you to you can see our episodes. Go back to episode 1. We're almost at 900 episodes. Go back to my episode 1. It is horrible. I promise you, it's not very entertaining. It's not very energetic. I started at 0, but I got better over time, right? Look at people's YouTube channels. Look at people's Instagrams. Scroll down to the bottom. They started at 0 as well. They didn't know what they were doing, and they started anyways. Prepare for pain. It's going to be uncomfortable when you post. Somebody's going to tell you, dude, that picture was shit, man. Oh, dude, that video was crappy. Oh, you messed up on this transition. What the hell were you wearing? You're going to get stuff like that. It's painful. Prepare for the pain. But if you're going to become a content creator, you need to understand that that's part of the process. But if you're accepting it in your mind that this is part of my process, right? Step number 1, accept your current position. Accept the fact that you don't know anything yet. Step number 2, prepare for pain. Get yourself mentally ready that it's going to take some time, and it's going to take longer than you think it is, right? Like it just is. When we started the podcast, I committed to every single day, 5 days a week for 3 years, because I knew it was going to take longer than 6 months. I knew it was going to take longer than 20 episodes. I knew it was going to take a long time. I knew if I can get to 1,000, I'd be in a better spot. And let me tell you guys, it's almost 4 years. July will be 4 years. It's almost 1,000 episodes in. And I am light years ahead of where I was, but I'm nowhere where I want to be yet. I'm still just scraping the surface, but I have a lot more practice than a lot of you. I know a lot more because I've been practicing, because I accepted the pain that was going to come with the learning curve. And over time, I got better. Okay. So 0 at the beginning, before number 1, 0 is you need to believe in yourself. Then I have number 1 is accept your current position, right? Understand where you are. And number 2, prepare yourself mentally for the pain, the struggle, because you're going to get to that next step. Number 3, you need to set a standard for yourself. I love the story of Eminem. It's actually Akon's story when he was going to go work with Eminem, right? You got to understand, in this culture of rap and hip hop, it's a party when you go to the studio, right? They're smoking weed, they're drinking, they're having a good time, they collab, and then beautiful music comes out of this, right? That's the image and the stereotype that comes out of hip hop culture. So Akon shows up to the studio, and he shows up around 7 o'clock at night, ready to do the thing, right? Ready to have fun with M and record something. And M's not there. So he calls him. He's like, hey, man, I thought we were going to record. He's like, hey, dude, I show up at 9 o'clock. We do the work, and I leave at 5. Eminem has a standard for what he does every single day. He treats his passion, he treats his work like a job, right? He's dedicating. He set the standard for himself. These are the hours that I dedicate to my craft. Kobe Bryant is another one. I scrolled through a TikTok earlier today, as a matter of fact, and he was talking about how when he went from 14, I think he said it was like 14 years old, and then like 2 years, 14 years old, he was nothing. He could barely play basketball like anybody else. And then 2 years later, he was like top state rank. How did he do that? He said that an average person that really loves to play basketball, that's their game, might play an hour and a half of basketball every other day, right? He dedicated every single day 2 to 3 hours of basketball. Mind you, that's 6-7 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day. Add that up over time. He's practiced way more than anybody else. That is how you take light years and steps beyond everybody else. It became his standard. And you hear about this in all the greats. Tom Brady's the same way. Michael Jordan's the same way. Tiger Woods is the same way. The Williams sisters are the same way. Every person that you talk to who's great has a standard that they set for themselves. So if you're going to become a pro content creator, you need to set a standard for yourself. How many posts are you going to make per day? How many times are you going to go live every day? How many, I don't know, different things that you can do. It depends on the content. How many articles are you going to write? How many podcasts are you going to post? How many quote cards are you going to make? How many video clips are you going to make? Whatever it is, you set your standard and you do it every single day. And you post every single day. The consistency is what's going to take you to that next level. You have to have a standard. And here's the thing. You actually do have standards in your life. Even if you think you don't, you're exactly where you are in your life because of the standards you set for yourself. If you're the type of person who's like, oh man, I hate waking up in the morning, you set that standard. That's why you're always late. Because your standard doesn't mean getting up early or doing the things you have to in the morning. And I'm not saying that's wrong or anything. It's just that that's your standard. Right? If you don't like the way you are physically, you're out of shape, it's because you haven't set the standard for yourself to drink more water, eat less food, move more often. It's not your standard. So as a result, you are where you are. Your bank account's the same way. If you're struggling in your bank account, it's because you haven't set your standard. You haven't set out to make enough offers every day. You haven't set out to talk to enough people every day. Your standard is going to equate with your life. The greats are great for a reason. You will be rewarded in public for what you practice in private. I think I heard Tony Robbins say that. Right? That's an amazing quote. Because nobody sees when you're in private, when you're looking through all the video tutorials to understand how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, or you're reading through all the tutorials in Canva and see what they can do, or you're going into right, or you're going into the back end of StreamYard and you're trying to figure out how this works. You just don't do it. It's not your standard. See, what's Amy say? I think I spoke with you at the beginning of the pandemic. You're from San Diego? Yes, we are. Good stuff. And I'm glad I'm following you. Thanks, Amy. And yeah, sometimes it is an ouch. I mean, sometimes you got to hear the truth, but it's the standard that you set for yourself, man. That's really what it comes down to. The only reason we've created the branding on this show the way we have, the following that we've had, the way our shows developed, the way we can create sales material for our customers and for our guests that come on the show, the only way that happened is because I show up every single day. I'm doing the show and I'm thinking in my mind as I do every episode, how can I make it better for my guests? What is it that my clients want, right? Why is a guest coming on my show? How can I make it better? How can I help their business grow? I ask myself that question over and over and over again. I say it out loud to myself. In my journal every day, I'm writing almost the same things, right? I get paid to help customers, or I get paid to help businesses grow. Like I write that down in my journal every single day. But how do I improve that? How do I make it better? Well, I'm improving aspects of something that I've been doing consistently. If you are not doing it, how can you improve? How can you make it better? How can you improve something you're not doing? Set the standard. Set the standard for yourself and it will happen. All right, so remember, number 0 is you believe in yourself. First, you have to believe that it's possible. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Believe in yourself. And number 1 was accept your current position. Understand that you're at 0, level 0, and that's okay. Today, I just got an Xbox Series X, and we're playing Halo, right? Very nostalgic for me. And when I first set up my profile and I go to launch the game, guess what? I'm at level 1. It's at level 0 because I haven't technically started yet. Everybody starts at the beginning no matter what. Accept your current position. Then prepare for pain. Understand that what you're going to do is go through a learning curve. If it's physical because you're going to go work out, it's going to be painful the first couple weeks. Accept the pain. Number 3, you set the standard for yourself. It becomes your minimum standard. This is what you have to do every day. If you don't do it, you're not going to get better. Set the standard for yourself. Number 4, show up. Life has its way of getting in your way, right? Life is going to happen. Wife, kids, I don't know, partners, the random stranger that takes up your time. Life is going to get in your way. Show up. Yesterday was a great example for me. I was in pain yesterday. Like physically could not walk very many steps. I was doing nothing but stretching the whole time. And yet when it came time to turn on the microphone, I had to do, I was doing office hours, mentoring for other people who are going through certification in the ads program with Billie Jean. When it came time to turn on that microphone, I turned it on. And I was uncomfortable in that chair because sitting is actually one of the more painful things, but I showed up. because I said I was going to. When it came time to do the podcast, it was a very short episode. It wasn't 100% effort because I wasn't feeling 100%, but I showed up anyways. You have to show up. When you set your standard, you have to show up. Be there. Even if it's not 100%, be there. I heard this story about somebody who wanted to start getting in shape, right? And so they had a gym membership, but they're not the type of person to go to the gym. And so they made a point that they would go to the gym every single day. And at first, they would go to the gym just to get their mind right. They would go to the gym and they could only be there for 5 minutes and then they would leave. So the guy would show up to the gym, right? Maybe do a couple jumping jacks, maybe push on some weights a little bit, 5-minute timers up, and then he leaves. And he'd do that for a week. And then after that first week, then you can go to the gym for 10 minutes. And then after that week, you can go to the gym for 15 minutes. Why is he doing that? Because showing up is the key. You first have to build the habit of you actually saying, this is what I do. You set your standard and then you show up. You do that, great things are going to happen, right? See, it's not about working out the gym for 2 hours. 20 minutes a day on a hard workout is going to get you much more results over time than 2 hours at the gym once a week. You have to show up. So I love to use the internet as my accountability partner. Okay? Look, mom's on here. Love you, mama. Yes. You sound and look better than yesterday when I saw you afterwards on the podcast. You had me worried. I was in pain yesterday, Mom. I definitely was in pain. It was hurting. It was no fun. But yes, today, 10 times better, way better, way better. So yeah, I like to use the podcast and the internet as my accountability partner. And I understand this. Look, when we first started the podcast, my mom, who you just saw in the comments, was probably our only listener. Mom and dad were the only ones listening. But it's okay because at the beginning, you weren't good enough to have people listen to you, right? But as you develop the practice, because we showed up every day, we got better, right? I told the internet that I was going to show up 5 days a week, Monday through Friday for the first 3 years. And I did it because I had to show up. When I'm running my 6 miles, I make sure I screenshot my Nike app that shows the date and the time that I started running and my 6 miles, and I post it on my story. Why? Because now I can tell the internet that I showed up, that I did it, right? And if nobody watches the story and nobody comments, it doesn't matter because it's my life that I'm trying to live by my design, right? Nobody else's life. If I don't go run, it doesn't affect anybody else on the internet. It only affects me. If I don't commit to doing this podcast, it doesn't affect anybody else. Your life will continue, but it affects me. I choose to live my life by design. I'm designing the way I want to live my life. And part of it is showing up on this podcast every single day to create content, to get better at marketing and advertising so that I can perform better for my customers and clients. How are you going to do that if you don't show up? So 0, believe in yourself. Number 1, accept the current position that you're in. Number 2, prepare for pain because there's going to be some learning curves. Number 3, set your standard. Number 4, show up. And then I got number 5, and this one's hard. Ask for feedback. This one's tough because our world revolves around us. And I'm a Leo, and one of my greatest attributes and also greatest weakness is pride. I mean, growing up, like I always had this thing, you could laugh with me, but you better not laugh at me. Like that really irked me growing up. And I had to overcome this idea of people are laughing at you. I remember being a kid and I would have to, give a presentation in class or something. And maybe I stumbled on a word or two and my face would turn red. I could feel myself sweating, right? Like the embarrassment, shame of making a mistake because I'm so proud, right? That was something that I had to overcome. It was something that bothered me that still to this day, I still work to be as perfect as I possibly can, to show up in my great one, which is my gamer tag, right? Like I still strive for that. So asking for feedback, whoa, like that might do something to my ego here, right? I might hear something I don't want to hear. I might hear some criticism that I might not like. I might hear some critiques of people saying, hey, maybe you should try this, maybe you should try this, and they don't even know what they're talking about. So why should I listen to them, right? All these thoughts going on in my head. But the feedback is so vitally important. You see, you're in business, right? And the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs, myself included, is a lot of times we start a business because we think we have a product or service that other people are going to love. But here's the bottom line. You didn't ask any of them if they're going to love it. You didn't get any feedback from the people that you're trying to sell to. You need to get that feedback, because as you're developing a product, as you're getting the feedback, those criticisms are not criticisms about you. They're literally telling you, this is the market speaking to you, telling you what they're looking for in your show, in your product, in your service. You need to look for the feedback. You need to ask for that. Tell me what you think. Did you like the music? What do you think of my logo? Hey, can I show you my sales presentation? Right? This is what I'm offering the public. What do you think? Ask for feedback and understand, right, that this is not an attack on you. This is how you improve. This is how you get better. This is where you acknowledge where you're failing the people that you're trying to reach. And then this is also where you acknowledge how you can reach them better. See, I always heard this analogy. It was like, if you have a product and you go and ask somebody about it, hey, check this out. I want to sell this to the public. It does A, B, and C. What do you think? If the feedback comes back to you and they're like, you know what? I don't like that part. That's kind of cool. You should probably change this a little bit. Jot it all down, right? Okay, make some notes and ask some more people, and you'll start to see a common trend amongst those things. And the idea is for you to fix your things, your product or service, until when you go up to somebody and say, hey, I got this product. I was kind of looking for your feedback. It does A, B, C, and D. What do you think? They're like, oh my gosh, I got to have that. When you get that response, that's how you know you have a winner. But it doesn't come the first time you put your product together. It doesn't come the first time you put your pitch together. It grows progressively. The first time you're going to get that other type of feedback. I don't like that. I don't like the color. Don't get offended. They're literally helping you do your homework for you. They're literally getting you to the point where you have a product or service that is going to be amazing, because you're getting the feedback out of the way early. This is the work of becoming a professional content creator. You test and you test and you test until you figure out what works. And when you test and you ask for feedback, and when you test and you get some criticism, and when you test and you see the comments, it's all part of the process. But that's how you get better. That is how you become a pro content creator. And honestly, that's how you get better at anything in your life. First, at zero, at your core, you have to believe in yourself. Then you have to accept that you're in a current position that needs changing. I am in this spot right now. I am overweight. I am broke. I am struggling. I have zero idea with content creation. I'm afraid of being behind the camera. Accept the current position. And then prepare for pain. You're either going to be in pain physically if you're working out. You're going to be in pain emotionally if you're trying to build something new or establish new relationships, uncomfortable networking stuff. You're going to be in pain if you have to get behind a camera, if you have to learn to write scripts, if you have to learn a new software. There's a learning curve. Prepare for the pain. It is going to be painful. It's not going to be easy. Set the standard for yourself. What is it that you're going to do every single day that is going to get you to that point? Because you only have 24 hours in a day. Thanks, Domingo. Always trying, my brother. Set the standard for yourself. And once you set the standard, show up. If you say you're going to do something, do it. It's okay to say no to things. Don't obligate yourself to things that you don't want to do and then not show up. That's detrimental to your brand. That's detrimental to you setting the standards, and people won't believe you after a while because you don't do what you say you're going to do. If you're going to commit to something, show up. And by setting your standards, you're committing to yourself. So you definitely better show up. And lastly, look for that feedback, baby. That's where life changes. That's where improvements are made. You're in business to be of service to other people. So you better get the feedback from other people. Otherwise, it ain't going to grow. You ain't going to make it happen. So that's it, ladies and gents. You want to become a pro content creator? Yes, it takes a lot of effort. The other side of it is you can just hire a professional content creator, and we're always looking for customers, man. So if you want to work with the beast mode business bro on marketing stuff, you need help getting new customers, make sure you guys go to businessbros.biz, businessbros.biz, schedule an appointment. Love to have a conversation with what you're doing in your business, see how we can help you out. That's all we got for you guys today. See you again in about 20 minutes because we got a special one coming up here soon. Peace, and we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the Business Bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the Insurance Bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation. Or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.